Hey guys, Revan here, and welcome back to episode 10 of Astroblock, where today we're going to do things just a little bit differently. That's right, I thought to break up some of the monotony of the Galacticraft and go into all the different planets, I'd give you guys a little bit of a montage. So sit back, enjoy the video, and let's see what we can't get done. That's right, as I mentioned earlier, we're going to be doing things just a little bit different this episode. We are going to be starting off with a little bit of a montage of taking you through pretty much the rest of Galacticraft. And after that, we're going to look to get environmental tech going and see if we can't get an ore miner. So I hope you guys enjoy this little bit of a montage, and we'll see you on the other side. I just wanted to point out that I did find the other two planets that I couldn't find earlier. What I did not know is if you use your mouse wheel to scroll out on the solar system map, you can actually find the other planets that you're looking for. So for here is Chalice. We have, it's hard to click on, but Nibiru, and this is the Diona one that we couldn't find earlier. All right, guys, well, we have made it to the tier 10 rocket in all of its glory. I do apologize for having to kind of go through the rest of Galacticraft in that kind of sped up montage there. However, I just felt that doing her kind of like a rinse and repeat of going to a planet, looting the dungeon, coming back, building a new rocket, going to another planet, looting the dungeon would get kind of repetitive and would probably take an additional 3 to 4 episodes based upon the timeline and stuff like that. So I just thought that this would be the most efficient way to do it. So I hope you don't mind. But now that we actually have a tier 10 rocket, if we come over to our quest line here, we can see that we have now unlocked Kepler 22b. Now I do need to get the research paper for it, but once we get to Kepler 22b, we should have all of the resources that we need in order to continue on with some of the other things that we have in the pack. I was, for a minute there, I was thinking that applied energistics was going to be kind of gated behind Kepler 22b because you needed something particular in order to get the Certus quartz. You needed to get to Kepler 22b in order to get the void ore miners, and the void ore miner was like the only showing me as the only way to get Certus quartz. However, I did kind of find out when I was going through my system that I was getting a very little bit of it here in the overworld based upon the digital miner. But I hadn't been moving the digital miner as much as I really should have because the other resources here are kind of so baseline that it wasn't a priority for me. But theoretically, we could have gotten into it a little bit faster. We wouldn't have been able to finish it, but we could have gotten into it faster. So let me just toss this guy up in here, which is the black hole. Now, I'm not going to go to the black hole until near the end of the pack, just because there is a history between humans and black holes, and we don't really seem to get along too well. Something about them crushing us into nothingness and things like that. So I'm kind of a little bit hesitant to go there, but we'll make it there near the end of the pack. Now, for the rest of the pack, a lot of it, unfortunately, is going to be kind of a craftathon. I'm going to have to make a lot of machines if I want to finish this out. And there's really not a whole lot of a reason to. Now, obviously getting into mechanism, there is a slight use for it because of the fact that one of the quests is to turn in 1 trillion RF. And one of the only really reliable ways that I know, other than the matter overdrive reactor down here, to make a lot of RF in this pack seems to be the mechanism reactor. Now, I know the base mechanism reactor with like the base fuel input will put out somewhere around 500,000 RF per tick, unless it's gated somewhat differently in this pack. The matter overdrive, we should be able to get it up somewhere around like 20,000 RF a tick. So those two combined, we should hit 1 trillion. I don't want to say relatively quickly, but a lot quicker than we would have if we were just using our little dynamos down there. So we can start getting into those, as well as getting into the environmental tech void ore miners, which is the way that I thought we had to do applied energistics. But you live, you learn. So we are going to go as soon as this rocket gets filled up. And let's see here. Yeah. So we can actually take off now and head to Kepler 22b. But before we do that, I don't want to forget, I got to grab myself a digital miner. All right. So we are in our solar system map. Now, let's see. Kepler, I think this is... Yes, Kepler 22b. So... space stations, yeah, a whole bunch of stuff we don't have. So let's launch over to it. Oh. So it looks like our spaceship should drop along with us at some point here. Fingers crossed. Because the tier 10 rocket is a little bit more expensive to make than the tier 6 that I kept losing. So, losing it is going to cause quite a bit more frustration than I'd hope. So let's just drift on down. All right, and as we approach the ground here, I'm noticing we got like candy cane trees over there. It's a very colorful planet, and I do see my chest and start looking for a dungeon. Now, I am hoping that we're not going to have any issues on this planet. So what I kind of noticed earlier was the fact that the planets that are introduced by extra planets seem to have issues as far as dungeons being spawned. The planets that were attached to Galacticraft, like the normal ones, the dungeons seem to spawn in just fine, and I could find them just fine. But the extra planet ones, the dungeon locator didn't always work. It would just take you off in a direction and then start, it would just randomly switch directions and say, no, the dungeon's that way. And so you'd follow it for a while and you couldn't find it. It even got to the point when I went into spectator mode because the locator was telling me that I was literally on top of a dungeon. If I took a step in one direction, it would flip around. If I turned around and went the other way, it'd flip around again. So yeah, it was some of those planets were a bit aggravating. We did manage to get through them, but I think one of the planets I ended up spending there for like almost 3 hours just looking for a dungeon. So all in the all in the hopes of 100%ing this pack. So hopefully we don't run into that here, but I am just going to go looking out for it and I'll bring you guys back. So after more running around than I want to admit, I realized the fact that this planet doesn't have a quest line for a dungeon. So I'm thinking there's no dungeon here, especially because we've hit the tier 10 rocket. So there's really nothing, nothing to put in a dungeon. So I think this planet is just going to be solely for the resources that we get. And that's kind of what I'm going to go with because yeah. So we're getting the dense coal, platinum, red diamond, yellow diamond, iron, green diamond, purple diamond. I know we need the blue diamond, I think, for one of the machines that we want to do. So we're gonna have to keep an eye out for that. These mobs are pretty easy peasy. They seem to be just your standard vanilla mobs. Whoa, the creepers aren't happy though. What do we got here? Oh, diamond ore, yes please. Like this kind of stuff. Yeah, I'm thinking that this is mostly a a mining planet. Yeah, just something tells me that. So I'm just going to run around here. Wow, look at this, even diamond trees. I'm just going to run around here, collect some resources, and then I'll meet you guys back at Earth. Now that we're pretty much done with the Galacticraft quest lines, other than a spare moon here or there, which, I'll clean up a little bit off camera. Let's see what we get for rewards here. I think most of them should just be your basic rare reward, but maybe we'll get lucky. I think the rockets are each legendaries. Yeah, it does appear that way. So let's see. This one is a rare, legendary. We already got you, and another legendary reward. So do we have anything else here? Looks like we actually got a watering can for one of the rewards, so that helps us out a little bit. And what pets did we get? Nice. See, and we got a crafting table pet, which we don't need anymore now that we have this fancy dancy advanced remote. All right, well, let's toss this stuff in over here. Let's see, we get a slimeling inventory bag. Okay. The crafting table, the jukebox pet, totem of advancing, which kind of acts similar to like a time in a bottle. It's a one-time use as far as I can tell. Another shulker box, dino pimp spray, although I haven't seen any robot dinos. I know I have watched other people who play this pack, and there were like flying spiders that shot like creeper rockets and stuff like that. I haven't seen anything like that. Massive battery, inventory slime generator, and a diamond to crystal, aka a glitch fest. So we have that in there. Now, one of the other things that I do want to get into, which I'm going to look through the quest line here. I don't know if it's an actual quest line. I do want to get into the environmental tech and start kind of getting that stuff started. In the meantime, we can tear these guys down because we should be able to upgrade them to the next level. Kind of curious to see what the base or the top level of the solar panel does. Now that is in the generators. So the hybrid is the one that we need to do next. So let's toss you on there, and the ultimates. I'm hoping we can get this done. Compressed crystal, we should have enough of that. So for the hybrid, we were being held up by the compressed magnesium. So that should solve that problem. Do we have any more? We're going to have to make another 12 of the base, the advanced solar panels. So let me get cracking on that. Okay, that took a little bit longer than I expected. But we have all of our hybrids in there, and we should be able to make almost 4. I apparently miscounted by 1. But we have the ultimate solar panel. So that should check off that requirement, and we got another sheep pet. Let's just set these guys up and see what they do. Of course it's nighttime. We're gonna need our Galacticraft wrench here. And let's see which side. That goes there. That goes there, and we'll put this last one right there. Now that it's daytime, let's see what these babies can do here. They are generating. Sun is not visible. That one is working. All right, so right now they're only generating 46 RF a tick. So the fact that we couldn't really even get these until quite a ways into the pack. Yeah. they're a little bit of a letdown. All right, let's check out this void ore miner. So previously, the tier 1, what we were being stopped by was dark iron. And we needed to get the dark iron on, which planet was it again? The dark iron was way down here on Eris. So we made everything else for the void ore miner very early on in the pack, but we could not make the diode that is necessary for the controller. So we can make that now. So let's grab this. Let's grab our everything else that we're going to need here. I think we're going to need a couple more null modifiers. And we needed the digital book to let us know everything that we needed here. So for the tier 1 void ore miner, we need 24 structure frames, 20 of the structure panels. We don't technically need any modifiers, so that's good. 2 laser cores and a clear laser lens. So we have the lens right here. These are interconnectors. We have structure panel, but we need 24 of the tier 1s. So let's see how we have to do this. So we're going to need interconnectors, and we are also being stopped by the dark iron here. So let's see if I actually made enough of this to begin with. All right, so we are missing lithoриtes. We can make a few more of those. So we have 24, 20, and we don't actually need the modifier. We have these 2 guys, and I believe there is an assembler as well. So let's make that to make our life a little bit easier. So 20, 24. All right, so we should be good with that. And then we're also going to have to grab a point so that we can feed it power. And let's grab, see, we have a couple ender chests here. What do we have for dyes? We have plenty of orange, so let's just do orange. The nice thing is I'm not on a server, so I don't have to waste a diamond on these guys. So this guy we can just toss down right over there, and then we can come out and try to pick a location that we want this. It doesn't really matter where we put it. I believe it just needs a clear path to bedrock, if I'm not mistaken. So it is going to eventually end up getting fairly large. So I'm thinking on top of this little mountain over here. Oh, speak of the devil. Never seen one of these guys before. Those little flying robot things. And he gives me Creeper Chili Crystal Shard. Interesting. All right, so to build this, you generally want to just build up a structure. It's getting a little bit hard because of let me just take this off. The jump radius on that thing was a bit obscene. So we are going to start this. It is going to be a little bit high, but as we grow, it'll end up going down quite a ways there. So now all we really should have to do is, I think we just click on it with the assembler. I know if we shift click, it'll pick it up. Yeah, if you just hold down your right click, it'll auto assemble it for you. So now it says in the lower left corner, it says assembled true. I am the owner of it. It's going to cost 600 RF per tick to run. So we can just toss this guy on here, pick our poison for power. And I don't even think that this needs, if I'm not mistaken, I don't think that it needs a cable to run into, but I could be very much so mistaken. Hey. Yeah, I swear I have gone all pack without seeing those things. We're just going to claim everything around us here. Yeah, so it's definitely looking like it wants us to have some sort of output into it. I wasn't 100% sure on it, but yeah, definitely pointing us in that direction. Now you can put the chest on top. However, at a little later on point when we have more items, oops. And actually I'll put this on, but I'm not going to do anything yet because I forgot we actually have to dig down to bedrock here. So, all right. And when you see the beacon beam shining down, that means it's working. Now, what I did want to try is, will this auto feed into the chest? Yes. So once it's actually working, it will auto feed into the chest. Now, in addition to the ore miner, what we're going to need if we're going to want to progress with this thing is we are going to need, I see you over there. We're going to need a resource miner. And the reason we're going to need a resource miner is because things like the litherite and its upgraded counterpart, you can really only get from, oh wait, oh my gosh, like seriously. They didn't exist until I brought it up. But yeah, the items that you need to upgrade, that you need to get through the void ore miner and the resource miner. So things like for the modifiers, which can either make it go faster or be more efficient, stuff like that. You definitely need that kind of stuff. So let's see what we actually need to craft that. So for the resource miner, it looks like it's pretty much the same thing. Some inner interconnectors, which are some black concrete and redstone and iron, and that is actually why I had this set up over here. This was just making the powder into concrete, which I was doing earlier. So we do have a decent amount of concrete saved up. So I'm gonna get everything set up for that, and I'm probably gonna set that up directly next to it. So the resource miner, just like the ore miner, is set up the same thing. It is 20 of the structure panels and 24 of the tier 1 structure blocks. Now, I mentioned before, these do have solar panels that you can use for them. They do take a lot of resources, especially the litherite. So I'm really just, I'm not going to be able to do it just yet. But this being set up, we should start... Okay, so hopefully we won't be interrupted again. But yeah, we'll get terracotta. We'll get a bunch of the basic stuff from this, but there's only a few items that we're actually looking for from the resource miner. So we're going to let those guys run. I'll probably have to AFK overnight for several days before we really have enough stuff to, you know, start upgrading them. And then it's like, you know, it just rinse and repeats. But if we can get up to the top tier solar panel, yeah, power is never going to be an issue for us ever in this pack. Okay, why do I have a creeper in my base? I just had a laser creeper in my base for whatever reason. I'm not really sure. There's nowhere for him to spawn outside, and there's nowhere for him to spawn inside, so he might be one of those mobs that kind of ignores those dark spots, which could be very dangerous for us, especially if they blow up our base. Unfortunately, guys, we are going to have to call it an episode there. As always, if you enjoyed the video, please leave a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so. It helps me out greatly. And stay tuned for next episode where we get into matter overdrive, specifically that good old reactor. And as always, stay awesome, be safe, and we'll see you guys later.